Hi, everyone. This is Marcia Vaca with the Family Care Compass. Glad to be able to be with you today and very happy to be doing another interview, which is absolutely one of the most fun parts of what I get to do. And I love bringing forth people who have expertise and professionalism in a field that potentially would be valuable to you as a family caregiver or as an individual. And today I have Cynthia with me, who is a professional notary serving down in Southern California. We're both here in California, so that makes it nice, doesn't it, Cynthia, in
Yes, it
terms of
does.
being able to come together? So I've got a series of questions. Cynthia wasn't sure what kind of questions, and man, I just started typing away. And I said, "Oh, I've got all these questions for you as a notary, and what your work really is, and how you got into it, and all those kind of good things." So we're going to take a few minutes today and talk about what it is to be a notary and what does it take to be a notary and many other issues that maybe you've thought about, but you yourself have never asked a notary as to what it took to do the work that they do and who they're responsible to and how they stay out of trouble as they do their work. So, Cynthia, thank you so much for taking time today to join us, to be with us, and to allow me to record our conversation today. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
So, yeah, this will be fun. So, my first question is really, and you'd think at this point in my life I would know, but I'm not going to make any assumptions even about myself. Um, what is a notary?
So basically, a notary is a state commission official who serves an impartial witness to sign important documents. Um,
Huh.
we are a primary role to prevent fraud,
Mm,
and
okay.
we ensure that the signer is who they are by identifying who they are,
Okay.
understands what they are signing, and is signing willingly and not under pressure.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's taken on a real responsibility with the amount of legal forms and contracts and all sorts of documents today. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Interesting. Okay. See, I'd never thought about it quite from that standpoint. So I have to ask before we get into too many details about your work, how how was it that you came to be a notary? And sort of how'd you get into this field? How long have you been doing it? Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, basically, after a corporate layoff, I was in contracts. I was in procurement. So this was a good transition for me to work in dealing with legal contracts. Um, Although during my corporate job, I was always on the other side of signing legal documents, whether I was buying a house, selling a house. And I said, someday I'll be a notary, but just didn't know when. Um, November of 2021, I got my commission, received my commission from the Secretary of State here in California, and started marketing in early 2022. And so that's how I became a notary and started I took the test and on my journey of starting to market the following year.
Goodness, okay. So you come out of corporate America, had a bit of a bump in the road with downsizing. Gee, that sounds like such a familiar story, right? Oh yeah, I think we can relate to that. So, what does it then actually take to be a notary? What did
Sure.
you have to even go through to get to the place you are now?
So you have to take a 6 hour course, whether it's outside, like a junior college, or online in the National Notary Association, which is headquartered in Chatsworth. You can go through their program.
Mm,
It's a 6 hour course. They go through the training. and then you end up taking the test either that same day or you schedule in the future. That 6-hour course is a lot to prepare you for your exam. Okay.
Okay.
So once you take that exam, then you wait to get your commission.
Mm.
Thereafter, once you get your commission from the Secretary of State after you pass your test, you have to get your E&O insurance, you have to get bonded, and then you order your stamp.
Mm.
Okay, so
Interesting.
your commission is good for 4 years.
Okay.
Every year you have to go through a background check. Okay, that's
Every
required.
4 years
So
background check?
every 4 years you get your commission. You
Okay.
have to renew your commission every 4 years. Every
Okay.
year you have to go through a background check.
Oh, every year. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's actually the state of California that gives you your commission. And is that commission like getting, say, I'm an insurance health insurance agent. So I have to go through continuing ed and had to take a state exam, all these kinds of things. And so I have to go through background checks. I have to go through ongoing continuing education. And my license is what it's called,
Mm-hmm.
is given to me by the state. So is your commission similar to what a license would be in the industry, in the life insurance industry?
Yes. So our boss is Shirley Weber here in the state of California, right?
Okay.
So our
Right.
commission, we get a commission number just like you have a license number or a real
Yeah.
estate DRE.
Yes.
We call it a commission for notary.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you, during that 4-year period, or in order to renew every 4 years, do you have to take continuing education classes that are offered by the state, or?
So when you renew after your 4th year, you're renewing your commission and you take a 3-hour course, not a
Okay.
6-hour. So every 4 years, you renew your commission by education of 3 hours. But during that journey of being a notary, you're always learning. You have to learn your state laws,
Mm.
okay? And you have to understand what area of notarization do you want to do and focus on. It could be general, it could be loan documents, it could be hospital signings. All that is different. They're very similar documents, but you need to understand what the difference would be from an acknowledgement to a jurat. And I'll tell you the difference is
I was gonna say, I don't know the difference, so.
jurat is you're given the oath. Yeah. So that's why you have to have an understanding of what you're notarizing for the client. A lot of times when you
Okay.
get phone calls, they'll say, okay, it'll be a loan signing. It could be a buyer, seller, or refinance. But then when you go to the hospital, it could be a medical directive. And
Oh,
you know automatically by the name of those documents what the acknowledgement would be, whether it's a jurat or an acknowledgement per se. So ongoing education in between after your license is always a good thing so that you're confident when you are visiting the client and understanding what the needs are is very, very important.
interesting. Okay, so I've never heard this before, but there's actually then sort of specialties within the field of notary work where
Yes,
you can focus and become basically an expert in a particular area of notarizing documents,
absolutely.
right? Okay.
It's like walking into
Interesting.
a care facility, um, and you're also doing loan documents. When you go into a care facility, you know that we are dealing with elderly clients, so your patients have to be there. you're more of a compassionate notary, that you understand the questions to ask up front when you get a call either from them directly or maybe a family member. So all these little things that we
Interesting.
learn how to um, make sure that the client is taken care of, but we also have to understand things will take a little bit longer for the signer because of a medical condition versus a young couple buying a home, as an example.
Mm,
Yes.
interesting. So, so there are notaries then that have actually taken either extra training or extra time to work within the medical field, which of course is my background, is in the medical field, versus say working in the real estate industry. Because those would be, when you do stop to think about it, those would be totally different forms and potentially totally different places or environments in which you would be signing those documents.
Absolutely. And you also have to understand it's high level, just presenting those documents to the client um, is really just learning all these specialties of what area you want to focus in. And
Mhm.
as a new notary, you just want to start as a general notary. So you kind of
Mhm.
get a feel of these particular documents that are pretty common, or have to go to a hospital. Sometimes people don't want to go to a hospital. It takes time,
Mm.
you know.
Sure.
And then you have to wait because they're in between shifts and all that good stuff. So these are all the specialties that the longer that you are a notary and you love what you do,
Yeah.
you kind of expand from there. So
Yeah.
you can't just jump right in and got my commission and be a notary. It really takes a special notary to really focus and understand and kind of guide the client.
Yes.
A lot of people do think that we can bring the documents to the client. No, the client has to bring the documents, have to have the documents present.
Okay.
Um, yeah, we're not part of legal side of things. We're just there to notarize and make it official.
Okay. So, along that same line then, what is it that a client needs to present to you or bring to you in order for you to actually notarize whatever it is they might be asking you to do?
Sure, that's a great question. We need a government ID with a photo
Okay.
and their signature. Um, it could be a driver's license, senior ID, a passport, a
Okay.
military ID with their photo. There's different types of military IDs,
Yeah, right.
and it cannot be expired within 5 years. Okay, so
But
that's
it
our.
could be an expired, like I end up with a lot of my older clients, they've had driver's license for decades, but the driver's license has expired. It's 6 months old. They haven't had the ability or had the time to go back into DMV and re-up and get that senior ID. So even though the driver's license might be expired like 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, you're still able to use that expired license?
It goes by the issue date. So if it expired last year and
Mhm.
the issue date on your ID shows 23, 2023, whatever the date may be,
Okay, okay,
it's still valid.
okay. So
Okay, so you
5
got
years from the issue date.
5 years from the issue date. That's correct.
Okay. All right, interesting, interesting. Okay. I had a bank refuse to accept one client's, expired, driver's license, and it had only expired, like, 2 weeks prior. And they wouldn't accept it, so that's interesting that
Yeah,
you're
so
able to
banks
look
are
at the.
a little bit more stricter,
Yeah, yeah,
but these are the guidelines that we go through. Like if we need a medical directive or power of attorney, for example,
okay,
we just log it in our book, get the
yep.
fingerprint. Yep. So
Interesting. Okay. Well, then, too, and you just said something that I want to highlight. You have your book. I've seen it. I've signed many. So, what 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 is so important about this book, and why do you have to get the fingerprint? And what happens to your book? I mean, once you fill it up, do you have to send it into the state? Do you have to keep it for a certain number of years or forever? I mean, what happens with that book and the data that's inside that book?
Great question. So the book is kept in our presence, locked up. We have to lock
Mhm.
up just like we do with our stamps. And we turn them in once we retire, officially retire. So we keep
Oh,
them
interesting.
forever. Yep. Then,
Wow, forever. Okay.
mhm.
Wow.
So if I retire from notary work in 20 years, then I turn in all those books to the county assessor's office.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Or the peace officer locally, police department. So they
Oh,
wherever they take them from there.
fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
that is required. We can get in trouble for that if we don't turn them in once we retire.
So do you also then turn in your notary stamp at the same time to the same people, or do you have to send that into the state, or what do you do with your actual stamp once you retire?
We chop it up. So we cut
Oh,
it,
okay.
chop it up in pieces, and making sure so nobody can put it together.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So it's
interesting.
just like an
Interesting.
expired commission. Once your commission expires, but you're renewing, those old stamps have to be cut up. The rubber needs
Yeah.
to be cut up so that it cannot be used again.
All right. Interesting. Okay. Well, what but this is fascinating. I mean, I did not know some of this at all.
That's great.
So, what are some of the most common documents that require, a notary service?
Yeah. Um, so common is financial power of attorney,
Mm,
your medical
sure.
directive, your HIPAA, and that's more of the general side of things. Trust documents if you're creating an estate plan.
Sure.
Um, like I mentioned before, if you're buying, selling, refinancing, even a reverse mortgage,
Yeah, true.
which that is a very specialty. I don't do those, but yeah, a reverse
Mhm.
mortgage. Um, and then your one-offs, like as an example, parental consent, like you have a child that's under 18 that's traveling abroad with an adult. Um, those are very common as well.
Interesting. So
So
you
there's
would sign a parental consent for a minor to what, like receive healthcare or just even go on the trip
to go
or
on the trip with grandparents. The parents are not going to be present,
oh,
just in case they do request that form. I've done quite a few of those. Unfortunately, divorce papers in a jail situation. I've done some jail signings as well.
mhm,
Um, yeah, so a lot of power of attorney documents as well, just to take care of the affairs while it could be a temporary thing um,
okay,
in a situation like that. Yes.
okay. Have you ever refused? I'm just interested. Have you ever refused to notarize?
I did only one time in my 5 years. Um, it was, and these are the questions that I do ask when I receive a call from a family member for a parent, a mother
Right.
or father. Okay. The
Mhm.
questions I do ask is making sure they have the capacity to sign.
Okay.
Do they know what they are signing tomorrow if we schedule the appointment, right? Oh yeah, they know. Okay, so do they have a valid ID that's not expired? So these are very important before we drive to the destination to notarize the document.
Right.
So yes, this one time after yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
um, And I do make sure that the family is aware that my travel fee, if it is refused, I still have to charge my travel fee. That's my time. Okay. But so
Mhm.
that they understand, in case that is, rejected for whatever reason. Um, so I go into senior home. I meet with the mom and the two daughters, and of all things, the daughter's in real estate, and she's a realtor. So I asked for the ID, writing it down, and simple words. We don't need to explain all the details, but you know, Marcia, can you explain to me in your simple words what you are signing today? Takes you a little bit, you know, and looks at the daughter. What am I signing today? Okay, so those type of things where we are trained to pick up on, we give them time. Like I said, when we go to a senior facility or hospital and we're dealing with an aging parent, we have to be patient and take the time because these are very important, right? Um, so unfortunately, I did have to reject because there was a number of questions I asked, and I did take the time. I was probably there an hour.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
and I pulled the two daughters aside professionally, and I got one that was a little with an attitude, but I wasn't going to put my commission on the line.
Right.
Um, so, and hopefully that the other notary, whoever they called, would recognize that as well. So
Right.
she didn't have the capacity, so I had to reject.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Out of Yeah, so important. And I do find that to be true, obviously, as a geriatric case manager, as I work with families, whether it be in their own home or because their loved one is in an acute care bed or a skilled nursing bed or even assisted living. Yeah, you have to pay attention. You have to be able to get a feel, as I call it, that
Yes,
gut feel. After 40 plus years, I sort of get that gut feel for when something just feels a bit off and you're just questioning what is really going on, what the motivation is, what the intent is.
right.
And you're right. There's been a couple of situations I've had to step away from
Mhm.
and not provide even case management work. And then, like you probably, at least in my case, I would report my sense of things to either the doctor, the nurse, the executive director, whatever, in terms of informing them so they could do their own, you know, sense. Do their own interviewing and figure out where they're coming from and if they agree or disagree with me. So interesting, interesting.
I'm a
What's
huge
the
advocate.
Yeah,
I'm a huge
yeah,
advocate for the elderly community, and my heart
yes,
really goes out to them. So I think my notary work has really helped out
yeah,
in training to ask these questions because sometimes we do wait to the last minute to
yes,
notarize these legal documents, and then
mhm,
it's a little too late. That's unfortunate,
yes.
but um, we're here to protect. That's all.
That's right. Amazing. Interesting. Just fascinating. Gosh, Cynthia, you really sort of opened my eyes to things. Because while I've had to deal with many, patients and clients over the years and even my own documents, I've never, sat and talked to a notary and really dug in a little bit more to the work that you do. So couple of things that come to mind. Number one, just to find out what's been the most interesting thing that you've ever had to notarize, or the most interesting place that you've gone to. Because I just want to be clear, Cynthia is a mobile notary, which means she comes to you. You don't have to go to her office. She'll come to you, which is very cool, very helpful. And it's something that for those of you who are watching this if you do need notary services, do check into your local community to see who might be a mobile notary so they can come to you. But what's been one of the more interesting things you've been asked to notarize, or an interesting place or location that you've gone to where you've had to notarize forms or documents?
When I first became a notary, I thought I was just going to do loan documents, right? And during my journey of just learning from our coaches, I never thought I would be notarizing documents at a jail.
Oh,
And
sure.
everybody says, I'm not going to go to, it's intimidating. It is.
Sure,
And
sure.
it's the safest place. It
Yeah.
is the safest place. You're checking in, you're in camera, because as a mobile notary, not just going to senior homes, I'm talking about just somebody calls you, you're going to their home, you don't know them from Adam.
True. Very true.
And, we do take risk out there. That's why we have insurance and all that good stuff. But going to a jail can be very intimidating because you do see a lot of officers and you're putting your book between the bars and the signer. And, you there's things that just happen in life and you just get it done.
Yeah.
Those type of documents are very common, such as power of attorney or release of personal belongings,
Okay, sure.
or maybe their vehicle got towed. Those type of documents, and
Okay.
unfortunately, like divorce, like when this happens, it could be a divorce document as well.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I've done, this is way back, folks. This is way back when I was much, much younger, like over 40 years ago. I lived in Modesto, California, and worked for the library system. And we took library services into the local county jail. And we would do that on a weekly basis. Well, that was part of my job. So I
Ah,
learned real quick how to deal with that situation, because it is a little different. It can be very intimidating uh, when those doors close behind you. And again, you're right. I think you're in one of the safest places ever. But yeah, that can be intimidating. That's interesting that you've gone in and done that and found that to be also the case. So, one of my last questions for you is, when you think about the notary work that you do, and you've already spoken to this a little bit, but to sort of put a fine point on it, what do you see as being the benefit of what you bring as a notary to your clients when you serve them?
I bring compassion. Um, it starts with that because you know, as a notary, you're it's life changing for everybody, no
Yeah.
matter if you're buying a home or your end of life. Okay. You go through the happy times. Unfortunately, you go through the sad times for the last minute. Um, you've got to have a heart, and integrity is through the roof.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you're in the wrong business.
Interesting. Yeah. Very, very similar sense then, in terms of the work that you do, how you approach your work, the importance of your work for everyone that you serve, and to, like you say, to bring your professionalism, but also your heart to what you're doing. Because you're right. You're again serving people at critical, major transition points in their
Absolutely.
life. Yeah. I mean, whether you're going into a jail and helping an inmate, sign a document that would help their loved ones who are not in jail, right, to deal
Yeah.
with just life and property and issues and other things that their loved ones continue to have to deal with while that person is incarcerated. I mean, that's a huge, and very important transition point in life, as well as helping people who are getting divorced and wanting to ensure that the paperwork is done and that, everybody's clear about what's going on, and they, whatever they're agreeing to, in those documents. I mean, that's another huge transition point, all the way to the point of who you're going to allow to make healthcare decisions for you when those decisions could potentially become life and death
Right.
type of decisions. Yeah. And to be able to recognize that what you do to notarize their basically wishes and desires, whether you've read the full document, whether you fully know what their wishes and desires are, but the point being that you understand what, in the overview sense, they're asking you to acknowledge on their behalf,
That's
right?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge, Cynthia.
It's
That's
huge.
huge.
And it just, I never knew how important or how busy I would be as a mobile notary. When I
Mm.
got into this field, um, it's been life changing. It's been rewarding, um, because it's serving the community, and it's really much needed.
Mm.
It's really much
Much
needed.
needed. Yeah. Man, love it. Love it. Well, any other final thoughts that you would want to share? Anything that I missed asking you? I'm sure that you know me, I could come up with more questions, but is there anything in particular that we haven't sort of addressed that you think would be important for folks to know? And actually, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of one other question. So let me ask this and I'll let you sort of wrap
Okay.
us. But to then you're commissioned by the state, and is that true of every state? So notaries are commissioned by their state. Can they cross state lines and do notary work, or you can only notarize within your state where you've received your commission?
That's correct. Where you received your commission.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Could you go into, you're in California, but could you go to Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico? I mean, could you also request or go through whatever that state requires to be commissioned in more than one state at a time?
You would have to be a resident to that state.
Oh,
But if
interesting.
somebody
Okay.
in Arizona was here in an emergency and they needed a notary, they're here in California, we can
And then you
notarize
can
that
do it.
document. That's
Okay.
correct. And we
Interesting.
can notarize throughout California no matter where we're at.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We're just
Good.
not here in Southern California. Yes.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, in fact, Cynthia, just for anyone who's watching this replay, Cynthia is in the San Diego area and
Yes.
serves San Diego area plus Southern Orange County, and that's where I grew up, was in Orange County. So I know exactly the geographic area that she's speaking of. But certainly, like you say, there could be that possibility where you could serve someone anywhere in the state of California,
Yes.
depending upon what the situation is and what the need is. That's cool. And you're part of a larger professional association of notaries.
Yes. I'm part of the National Notary Association. They're nationwide.
Okay.
And also, I do training with other notary coaches nationwide. So I may see notary partners in Florida, Idaho, Texas, New York.
Okay. Yeah.
So if somebody's in a bind, I'm willing to help out and look them up. And I may know them from our courses that we take. So
Okay.
they recognize one or two or three, you know. But
Okay.
yeah, we all go through this training. It's very, very important.
Yeah. So you could actually, even though someone may be here in the state of California, because of your connections with the National Association, you could actually potentially help to make a referral to a
Yes,
notary in
absolutely.
another state or area.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, good. Okay. Okay, now I will finally be quiet. I told you I've got lots of questions.
You're excited. I know. That's a great interview. That's great.
So I'll let you sort of wrap us up for this for today. And I just want to say thank you. This has been great. But what are your last words of wisdom, insight, input that you would offer up to
Yeah,
our
so my
audience?
last words would be for anybody that is a caregiver or even your own um, life situation that's happening, young, middle age, or older, just make sure that your legal documents are in order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, Even if you have a retirement plan or a life insurance policy, make sure your beneficiaries are up to date. Make sure you're reviewing your documents every year. If you have assets, make sure that you or a home or a business, make sure you have a living trust.
Mhm.
I have to say that I have come across for last minute situations. It's stressful for the families, brother, sister, aunts, uncle, children, that we waited to the last minute. I just say, please do not do that. We always can make the time on a Saturday afternoon, going through things, make it a to do list, spring cleaning. Just make sure you have your documents in order.
Yes. And I will second that vote. Yes, having dealt with many a situation where documents either haven't been in existence or they're so old that everyone is questioning, or the people who were the beneficiaries or were their power of attorney agent has passed or moved out of the state or whatever it might be. And you're right, to be always aware that you've got to take time and on some kind of a regular basis review what you've done and just keep them current. Yeah, good message. Good message. Well, Cynthia, thank you. Man, this has been great. Great fun. Great conversation. Appreciate you taking the time to let me interview you and talk with you and ask you my multitude of questions.
No worries. No worries. May I ask, may I have another comment that's on a
Sure.
positive note? Is when I wish I had this as well, is start having these conversations with your loved ones. Start writing down some things, maybe recording their voice. Um,
Yes.
just, taking more photos. We take things for granted when that situation happens suddenly,
Yeah.
and you always look back and say, I wish I could have done this, or I wish I could have done that.
Yes.
I'm in that field, and I've had those moments where I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. So,
Yes. Yes. Love that. Words of wisdom. Definitely words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome.
And I have to say, if any of you are interested in reaching out to Cynthia, she is part of the Family Care Compass family. She is a member, and you can find her information there under membership. And I'm certain she'll respond to you, particularly if you let her know that you found her through the Family Care Compass. But if you have any trouble at all connecting with Cynthia, being able to ask her any questions, get her insights and input on an issue, feel free to reach out to me and I will make sure that you are in contact with Cynthia because she's a gem. She's one of those true gems in what she does professionally and just being so caring and so compassionate and so professional in her work. So thank you again, Cynthia. Great conversation this morning. And we will sign off for now. Everyone
Thank
have a
you.
great day. Thank
Everybody have a
you.
blessed day. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you,
you
Marcia.
all. You bet. Thank you.
Bye-bye.